Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Blood Phantom 81. So today I'm filming a video based on an idea that I thought about on my way here, about to pick up some food. So I'm actually filming this on my new phone. And so the question is, do I feel any happier that I bought a new phone? And the answer is yes. Like, I'm really liking this new phone. I think it was way worth it. It's an iPhone 11, so I'm pretty happy about it. Definitely needed an upgrade. And for starters, I'm not the type of person that's like a role model in terms of money management. And that's basically why like my channel as a finance channel is really more about like making money rather than managing money, because I'm not really that good of a role model there. I buy expensive shoes all the time. I'm talking like greater than $200 per pair type shoes. I eat out maybe like 7 times a week, maybe more sometimes. And yeah, stuff like that. Like I don't really think twice about spending most of the time. And but that basically reminded me of an idea, which is like, in terms of becoming wealthy, you basically want to buy assets and increase cash flow, which is like, cash flow is income minus expenses. And so yeah, on both of those notes, obviously increasing assets, I make videos all about investing in the stock market, so that one's covered. But as far as like increasing cash flow, I think I would much rather try to increase my ceiling, raise my ceiling, rather than decrease my floor. And what I mean by that is, if you want to increase cash flow, you can either lower your expenses or you can increase the amount of money that you're actually spending. And there's a huge difference between both, because in my point of view, not spending as much is potentially jeopardizing my happiness, if I'm being completely honest. Not that I think you need money to, or you need to spend money on things in order to be happy, but yeah, definitely like everything under the umbrella of what you can spend money on, that includes experiences, that includes gifts for others, that includes, you know, food or gifts for yourself, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I'm not going to, I really don't advocate like strictly lowering your expenses, although I do understand there's like a big difference between someone that's really in debt and just struggling to manage their expenses, and someone that like just has, you know, a little bit too much of a spending habit. Like, there's a big difference between both of those things. If you really have a spending problem, that's the first place I would start in terms of increasing cash flow. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I think that's important, but yeah, I'd rather stress out over thinking about how can I make more money rather than how can I spend less. And on that note, just because I say like, how can I make more money, I don't necessarily mean like side hustles or like simple tasks that can pay a small amount of money and just doing those tasks over and over again. What I mean specifically is a lot of people really talk about like hustling and just like grinding and making, you know, and then just doing a lot of different things in order to increase the amount of money they're making. You know, things like driving for Uber, driving for Lyft, driving for DoorDash, or anything else that may just be like a repetitive task that doesn't require that many skills. In my opinion, a lot of side hustles, especially minimum wage side hustles, are just kind of like a way to do a lot of motion without actually going anywhere. And it's basically like, when you think about running long distance, for example, which I started running long distance, it took me like 3 weeks to get from an 8.5 minute mile to a 7-minute mile. And it's taken me 6 weeks to get from a 7-minute mile to 650 mile. Basically, like I'm pretty capped at 650, and I can't beat 650 for some reason. And so when I look up, you know, on YouTube how to run a faster mile, step number 1 is always to run more. And the reason is because your body is basically like a system. It's a cardiovascular system, and so it's kind of like an engine, and some parts need to run more efficiently in order for you to become a better runner. And the only way to make your parts more efficient is to actually just run. So step number 1 is always run long distance. Even if you want to run a faster mile, the trick is just to run. Basically, you don't have to time yourself that much. It's just like, you know, if you want to run a faster single mile, then on the weekends jog like 20 miles or something like that. So that's always step number 1. And so you know, in a few months, if I just keep this up, then my body's going to become way more efficient. And for every 1 unit of energy or pain that I use now, between now and the time that my body becomes more efficient, the amount of pain and effort that I put into actually running will take me so much further a few months from now. And so that's basically the point I want to make, is like, not all movement is good movement. And so I would highly recommend, you know, investing in your brain, in your mind, through the form of either online education or just finding a mentor or starting something that you're passionate in. Because there's a lot of skills that are just super, that just pay well, you know, things like software, things like marketing, things like business, things like design, which are skills that a lot of people can actually do that they don't really think twice about them. So yeah, before this video gets off tangent, I just want to summarize that last point. I think, like, I'm sort of talking about career here, but not necessarily a career. Like, if you're making minimum wage, I would always recommend, you know, figuring out a way to really step up. It could be through sales, it could be through business. You don't necessarily have to get a degree, but yeah, I think minimum wage is not chill. Like, I just think it's really hard to invest in real estate and other assets if you're making minimum wage. So try to find a way to get a career. And if you're currently doing a career and you're just not getting paid that much, think about like a career pivot. Like if you're a biologist, for example, you know, consider learning how to program well, and then you can become like a researcher, or you know, have like a lab-based job, or maybe like a data analyst or like a data scientist. So yeah, so those are the 2 steps. Like, if you need a career, find one. If you're in a career and you're not getting paid that well, then find a way to pivot. Just keep in mind that not everything in life is about money, so don't do whatever pays the most just because it pays the most. But yeah, so wrapping up this point, I just want to say, yeah, raise your ceiling, don't lower your floor. I'll see you guys in the next video.